we go. Okay, it appears that we're recording. Okay, so this is the fucking not even annual. This is just a Q&A stream, not stream. It's just a video, answering the questions that the community has asked regarding the game and its devs, but it's mostly about the game. So basically, yeah, we're coming up on the release of 0.15.0 update, and it's like, alright, so is this even, okay, it appears so. This is quite a long list for the update. I'm looking at the Trello right now. So, a lot of attachments mostly, a lot of fixes from Shub, so just, hang in there, it's coming, and it's gonna be great. But no guarantees, so, I guess we can begin with, so basically I took all the questions I got and just threw them inside a PowerPoint presentation, since I couldn't be bothered to
Also, don't get off the topic of when the update. I would give an estimate date. Currently, Shub is waiting only really for me on the update, which is all the other attachments I want to add in for the update. So an estimate would probably be on Monday, either Monday early, like Sunday to Monday, or like Monday late, I'd say. Depends on Shub wants to add anything else to it, but it's really just going to be me implementing everything into Studio, and if nothing bad goes, then that's done.
Well, he's gonna have to implement all that, and I'll have to balance all that.
Mm-hmm.
That's not that big of a deal. So all that scope switching and all is coming in 0.15, so stop asking for it. Although there's been some other stuff, but it's not getting fixed in 0.15 at least yet. Stop complaining about errors appearing on your screen. That's just a thing we did, and we're not gonna remove it. So please stop crying. Anyways, I guess it's worth beginning with. Wait, do you see my screen?
Yeah, answer some more common questions first, like about the most common one I would say is the map.
Yeah, right. So
the guns.
About more maps. Honestly, that's quite a dumb question, but
The current map is really just a placeholder. It's a shitty placeholder that is being worked on by Shub just to somehow silence all the people crying that it's a terrible map, which is being constantly just camping the spawns. Yes, the new map is coming. Yes, somebody's working on it, but we're not a big team, and it's not so simple to make a good fucking map that will work out for a while at least.
Yeah, we honestly didn't want to touch this map at all. Like, we made it, and we wanted to scrap it straight away, but it just kind of came out that development of next maps is very, very slow, which is mostly dependent on the amount of builders and their free time. So, and the expansions Shub is doing to this map, basically, just as you just mentioned, to silence all of these people who are screaming that it's all bad. So yeah, I guess just hang in there. New map is coming, not in 0.15, sometime later, I don't know. It's being developed, I wouldn't really tease it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff can change, so teasing it would be a mistake, so... Yeah, that's what it's about, maps, and Shub's, I guess, Shub is doing the best he can to make do with the little time he has on the mapping and the time and resources, so just basically making the blocks and shit. But I guess it's in a good place right now.
Yeah. Gun wise, people keep asking, will there be more guns? Like, the way currently guns work is obviously whoever doesn't understand that security has one gun, insurgents have one gun. It will never be where I don't think it will ever make it so insurgents can equip the guns that what's it called? Security uses, unless pick them up from the dead body.
Yeah.
But gun-wise, yes, there will be new guns. They're just not so simple to add because we have Shub that's doing all the scripting, all the animating, and there is me and Scrub that do the gun modals. The next gun that's probably going to come is either the PP19 or the Makarov. So Makarov, well, basically the only reason we want to add these two first I would say is just because insurgents currently have one sidearm, one primary, and their sidearm is copied from security. Security already has two primary guns. The second one is not fully implemented yet, but there's already one that is going to be Chris Vector. So we want to get an opposite. So the way we want to make it is each faction has an opposite gun. Like, say you have the M4 opposite to an AK-74. Yes, they're not obviously balanced. They will never be. They'll never be balanced.
They're
Like,
not supposed to be balanced.
yeah, they're not supposed to be balanced. It is not going to be like PF. So yes, AKs will have a lot more recoil. Maybe they'll have a bit more damage, but insurgents is going to be harder. You can look at their NVGs, which was a kind of like, I'd say, a good balance way that security has a high FOV night vision, while insurgent have shitty FOV, which, I mean, is not fair, I would say, but at the same time, looking at our game, it's not going to be ever fair. It's not supposed to be balanced.
Because when we actually implement real game modes, which we're going to talk about later, there's going to be team switching. So it's like you play for the security, you play for both teams. It's not like you join for the security and win every match and go home happy.
Yep.
So yeah, guns are coming. They're being worked on. It's mostly the biggest bottleneck is Shub, but you shouldn't really blame him for that. Because guns take a lot of time. You can get a gun modeled in 2 days, but it can take up to 2 months to add it to the game. So
yeah,
so that's the thing, which is keeping it back. Like Shub is reanimating the vector for the 3rd time already. So as you can see, he's having problems with it. So just hang in there. The guns are coming, and the vector probably won't be released alone. Probably come with some counterpart on the insurgent team, but we'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll just release it, because why not? You know, we had those accidental releases of the vector, but yeah. Oh well, that's about guns and maps.
wait. I'll answer all the attachment bullshit as well.
Oh, yeah.
Attachments wise, suggestions are open. I am always telling everybody, fucking suggest attachments. I'm adding as many attachments as possible while we don't have any new guns, and I will work on the next gun soon. But attachments, anything is possible other than anything stupid. Please don't suggest stuff like flashlights on tape. That's just not something that would work with our system. And it's just, maybe it will be a thing, but only if we would have a thing where a game mode where it would be more hardcore. So insurgents don't have full-on equipment that is thousands of dollars from the US.
That's like
Maybe, but no goddamn promises. And please stop saying tape. No, that's not gonna happen anytime soon until at least that game mode comes out, or if it will even happen. Other than that, attachments, suggest anything. I'm gonna be working on adding all types of attachments. Rob is gonna be working on Glock attachments more, so we have Glock coming back with more shit. More scopes are coming, obviously. All the attachments that Shub posted in developments, that's what I'm going to be working on the next few days. So all that is coming. Yeah, that's all about the attachment.
Yeah, I'm talking about that realistic, so to say, game mode, which is just more realistic than the game would be.
Yeah,
you did imagine a Milsim.
Yeah, the one thing that people keep crying about and asking about is recoil. Please understand, the way recoil in our game works, the way that recoil stats work, if your recoil goes into negative, that does not mean shit. It's just really because the system doesn't have any number to subtract from, so it goes into negative. But that doesn't mean anything. Your gun will still have recoil. Say you have 40 recoil, and after putting attachments on, it's going to go -5. It would be the same as if you had 50 recoil and would go down to 5. There's, like, if it goes into negative, that means nothing. So don't ask more, just, it doesn't mean anything. You can't get negative recoil on your guns. It's just unbalanced yet. That's something to fix, really.
So if you get 0, I guess it's kind of my fault, but I shouldn't really complain about it. It's like, okay, good job, you got 0 recoil, but once the progression system comes out, those attachments will be locked behind a lot of levels and a lot of playing, and still be rebalanced many times, so we'll see how it plays out in the future. But good meta builds, I guess we cannot get rid of them, even though I've tried really hard. But they're always gonna be there, which is gonna be less meta than in some other games.
Yeah, and kind of the way we're trying to balance. Unlike Tarkov, our attachment system is a bit different. The way we balance them is also ergonomic wise. It's not like in Tarkov where ergonomics will depend on your holding breath and all that stuff. We don't have that. But ergonomics depend on your reload speed. So the better your ergonomics, the faster you reload. Yes, that doesn't make too much sense where your animation is slow, but that's just a way to balance from people putting thousands of attachments, and that's kind of how it works right now. So it will affect your reload speed and your ADS speed. So keep an understanding of that. The better your build is, ergonomic wise, recoil is not the most important thing to care about. You could have more recoil, but at the same time, the ergonomics will save you.
True, true. Currently, I'm going to be working on rebalancing the vertical and horizontal recoil values, since currently it's very easy to get like 0 vertical, but like horizontal stays at like 50. So I'll be working on making attachments, more balanced between those two, since I do recognize there is a problem. But heading on, um, I guess there's some more interesting questions we can look at, which is, will the game be arcade style, like PF, but with realistic gameplay, or will it be like Milsim? Well, mostly I would like Deadline to be its own thing. Like, no, I don't want Deadline to be compared to PF or some other games. Please don't do that. I'll get triggered. But I wouldn't also call it a Milsim, since currently it doesn't really have a game mode which represents Milsim. But we could have that later. But currently it's just a more realistic game, and it's definitely nowhere near PF. So it's like its own thing. I'd rather like it more where people compare other games to Deadline, like the Deadline, that realistic game. So instead of us being compared to others, but I guess that's just a thing. So yes, we're going for realistic gameplay, and later we'll be doing Milsim as well. And
If you're a PF player, yeah, if you're a PF player, don't complain about the recoil because this is not a PF style game. We're not gonna have you fucking laser anybody with your gun.
I
It's
know,
not gonna be
right?
like that.
Just imagine some dude who plays, I don't know, PF going to play like Rising Storm, where the recoil is just all around the place. So please just understand that there are other games around. And also, if I have low FPS currently, the FPS is the recoil is dependent on FPS. So if you have 10 FPS, unfortunately, I don't think you're gonna be able to hit anything. But that's just, yeah, that's a thing we're trying to fix. But continuing, why do you want to add skins? Well, okay, I guess you just skip the point if we're adding them, but yes, we're adding
Yeah.
skins, but I guess why would be because, well, when you're talking about skins, how we imagined it was not like these pink PF skins, but more
Yep.
like realistic ones, like FDE, Olive, Coyote, and stuff like that.
Camera and shit like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Something simple and sticking to realism, not having your gun pink like an airsoft.
but yeah, we could actually, well, we could realistically look at how these attachments are in the real world, and some of these attachments actually have the pink option for them, which we could
Yeah.
obviously implement. But we
Yeah.
won't really be painting the whole M4 receivers pink, only because we
Yep.
can just decided they want to be pink. So yeah, that's about the skins, and they're also, the skins are gonna be exclusive per attachment, so it's not gonna be like a whole skin for the whole gun like in PF. But it's gonna be like, I want to color my EOTech FD, and I want to color my whole gun like super black or something, I don't know. So that's how it's gonna work. So continuing on, will there be any lore connected to the gameplay? Well, honestly, I tried to write some lore some time ago. You can find it somewhere if Shoop hasn't deleted it, but I haven't really gotten into it too much. But it's just really, lore could come later. It could come later. Like, honestly, it would be great if someone just came along and wrote it for us. We're kind of lazy, but I guess lore could be good for a game which stays afloat for some time, especially when the Milsim comes along. So, I mean, I guess lore wouldn't be that bad. Okay, so for how long have these devs been coding or making Roblox games? Oh well, this is time for a history lesson. But well, basically the origins of the line can be found. Oh, it's like 2018. I won't trace you. Well, actually, it's like 2018 or 19. Actually, I literally don't remember, but it's basically 13th of April. That's when Deadline V1 was created with a couple more people. By the way, Shub and me weren't the founders of this idea, and basically Deadline the name, because some other people came along. They made us meet, so then the name Deadline was given to the game by some other person. Well, his name is actually Svexer, but he's been gone away from the team for a long time now. It was mostly two of us after that. It was Shub and me working on the game, so we've been like 2 years or something together, maybe less, I don't know. But we've gone through Deadline V1, Deadline V2, and now we're on Deadline V3. And V3 is basically the version we're pushing for release. So yeah, around 2 years, but I've been modeling for like a year, a little more, and Sniper has been modeling around the same time, right?
I think I'm coming up to second year very soon.
Oh well, I guess 2 years. So yeah, that's how we've been doing it. What made you make this game? Well, actually, back then, 2 years ago, there wasn't. It was like we wanted to make a shooter named Deadline. It was supposed to be something quite simple at the start. We weren't really aiming for anything. Maybe something battlefieldish, but not really, since we didn't get much done. The idea of Insurgency came along much later, maybe around, well, maybe a year ago or less. Basically, when V3 released, we kind of started setting our aim on Insurgency. So why we made this game? I guess we just kind of, Shub and I met and we just, I don't know, wanted to develop a game, I guess. That's about it. And where are you from? Oh, I mean, sure, Sniper is from... You say it.
I'm from Russia.
He's from Russia. And I'm from Latvia, but don't mistake it with Russia. So, and Shub's from Poland, and yeah, that's all you should know, really. So yeah, continuing on, there are a lot of questions from Elusive Gore. Will there be any form of heat detection equipment? Alright, so... I mean,
Yeah.
I actually talked to Shub about this, but like, we can definitely have not fucking heat seeking. I was talking about infrared scopes and NVG scopes, but they couldn't be used like the current scopes we have, since Roblox doesn't support picture-in-picture. So it would be just like a full screen GUI, which gave you the infrared look or the NVG look. But that isn't coming anytime soon. We haven't even planned that out at all. So just
Yep.
that's an idea we looked at probably, maybe sometime later, 2 years, a year later, it'll come, but not now. Okay, so he was talking about asking you the questions. Mortar strikes for the losing team like in standard issue. Well, really, since in standard issue you don't really have the commander role, which does all the support thing, like calling in airstrikes and shit. Probably no, we wouldn't have monster strikes for the losing team, which are automatic. We would probably have just a person in the team who calls in the airstrikes whenever he needs them. But that is still up to us to decide how it's gonna work and whether or not it's gonna be one or two people who decide. But no mortar strikes for the losing team. That's not a thing we want to do. Since, okay, so he's saying your sound and suppression system could do them really well, plus your particle physics. Yeah, we agree. We quite a lot worked on we worked quite a lot on the sound and suppression system, but
hopefully we don't get the suppression system like in standard issue, where you have a teammate 3 floors down below you, and you're getting suppressed and starting to shake like you're in fucking. Oh god, you're just going insane from it. Hopefully it's not gonna be like that. But
Well, how we made it is that there's this distance before the suppression starts. So like if a teammate shoots an area,
yeah,
you're not gonna get suppressed. It's like a couple, I don't remember the distance, but it's like these studs, which are counted, and only after that distance the suppression starts for whoever is standing there. So yeah, that's not really a thing for us yet, I guess.
I mean,
If you
we
decide.
kind of have a suppression system, but it's more on the damage. I think that's how it works right now. Where if you get damage, you start shaking up a bit. I think that's how it works. I'm not sure.
Well, there's the yeah, when something misses you, you get that bullet crack sound, and
Yeah,
you start shaking. Same goes to grenades. Also, grenades used to have this air ringing noise after explosion, but that's just gone now. Um, yeah, that's how suppression works. Will there be more maps for different situations? So, like, you could have a loadout for grasslands. There's a village in the first map, and the first map. Well, how really we want to do it is have maps that are quite universal. So maps which have both CQC, long range, medium range. So you can have all kinds of combat in a single map. So we don't really have to really look at, making a lot of maps at once just to satisfy the whole community.
hmm
But yes, different situations definitely will be included in maps. So next is grenade launchers. Yes, later. Um, but of course they would cause minus ergo and possible increased recoil or due to BOP. We'd definitely find a good way to balance grenade launchers. Well, if
yeah.
it's kind of hard to
There's a
tell what
lot
you're
of
talking
ways.
about. If it's like a grenade launcher, if you're talking about an RPG, um, that would be impossible to use in close range since it would basically kill you as well. Uh,
Yep.
and grenade launchers like 40 mics, well, they also have the detonation, like they won't detonate close range, so that could be a thing we could
Depends on the
use to balance.
round, but we'll probably balance it by just giving it a specific round since we don't have different ammunition types. I don't know if there like from my perspective, I don't think there's any point of adding different ammunition to the game unless it would be unlockable, but that would still be kind of dumb because people would abuse it after going too high level. Since we don't have a looting system, and that's just not the type of game we are, there is really no point of having different ammunition unless you want to give high levels the opportunity to kind of just kill all those noobs with M995 and their M4.
What I was thinking about ammo is not having the Tarkov equivalent of ammo types, which obviously will break any game, is
Hmm
having the just broad ammo types, like having standard bullets with no tracers, like in real life, so there's no way to
Yeah,
tell where the
yeah,
bullet goes except the place where it actually
yeah,
hits.
exactly.
Then there would be the tracer ones, which have like some lower stats, but at least you can see where you're shooting. That's most useful for machine guns. And there could be some, I don't know, subsonic or rounds or something, but mostly I was thinking armor piercing, tracer, and standard rounds. That just there are like three of them. They're balanced, so it's not like you're using AP rounds and you're just doing better
Exactly.
than standard.
Yeah.
So all of them have some advantages and disadvantages. I didn't really want to do those Tarko ones, where some rounds are just flat out better. No.
Yeah, and like somebody mentioned earlier, Tarkov is unrealistic there armor wise. So like in real life, if you have a shit ammo type like M855, no, you will penetrate a helmet, and even if you're wearing a helmet and you get hit, you're gonna fucking more likely die because your skull is just gonna crack from a small helmet. It's kind of complicated, and yeah.
Yeah, that's why we didn't really want to do the equipment which gives you advantage. It's like the sergeants don't. Mostly of them they won't have helmets, but the security will. And it's like, well, helmets will still get penetrated, so it's like a one-shot headshot anyways. So for both teams, doesn't really
Yeah.
take into account that there's a helmet. Um. Okay, so continuing on, will there be an equipment slot for like ammo bag, range finding binos, flares, or something like that? Yeah. I mean, we haven't really talked about it, but there will be more equipment coming to the game.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure. I was also yeah, talking about equipment. I was talking about Shub of adding the second grenade as flashbang, and that's coming soon probably. Because Shub said that he can easily add it, and I said that I will model it tomorrow. So we'll see where that goes. Maybe a possibly new grenade, which would be nice.
Are you talking about the M84?
Yeah, the M84 Flash.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that could come, but other equipment like ammo bags and range-finding binos. Well, I guess when bigger maps come, when there's no
Yeah,
response, those things will definitely have to be added. Since right now they're not that necessary. Same goes to
yep.
flares and stuff like that. So will there be a system where you can adjust the sight settings, calibrate it for further distances? Okay, well I know Tarkov has
Ooh.
this, but I think it's too big of a it's too big of a hustle for us, at least now.
Yeah,
It's like, yeah, you can dial the sights for like 1,000 meters. I guess at some point we could have maps where that is useful, but like for now, I guess you could just have to aim up and higher up and just try to do it with bullet drop, but not really, not really. That sounds like something standard issue would add, but I know we went for something semi-realistic, and I guess we'll just skip this at least for now. But there,
let's for now lower Shub's pain thinking
yeah,
of how to add it. He's already got to deal with the M-lock bullshit.
yeah. There's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of stuff to add for a single scripter who's still
Oh
developing
yeah,
a game which is not really stable.
yeah.
This,
Answer the question for M-lock. I've answered it so many fucking times, and I just have to repost a picture of it. The way M-lock, why it's not in yet, and why it's taking so long, because we don't want to shit like in Tarkov, where it just snaps onto one specific spot on every single handguard. We want it obviously more realistic, where you can move it where you want it. You can put multiple M-lock mounts. You can have either short one up front and a longer one closer up. We want that, but we're first of all we're working on a ROBLOX platform, which is fucking pain. Second of all, it's only one scripter doing a lot of stuff. To repeat that again, and it is a very complicated feature to do, so it's taken a while. So don't question it. It's coming sometime, but no idea when. It's hard to add.
true. Yeah, it takes a lot of time. It's like Shub is trying to stabilize the game, do some core features, and then he has to do this side things, which maybe aren't that necessary, but I guess they just have to come sometime. So yeah, that's just working on content, I guess. Um. So okay. So continuing on, will there be any game passes? Well, probably game passes for the in-game currency, like buying in-game currency using Robux. That's about it. At least that's all we plan.
Yeah.
Or maybe just buying guns for Robux. But yeah, just guns, not attachments, just guns.
I don't know. That's gonna be quite the questionable thing for all of us, but it's like, yeah, people will probably cry about it, but at the same time, we're working on a Roblox platform. Me, Scrub, and Shub all have been wasting a lot of time on the game. Scrub has wasted a lot of time on the game. Shub has wasted a lot of the game. I'm just a lifeless piece of shit, so I'm gonna be wasting a fucking ton every single day of my life. But yeah, it's gonna be a questionable thing for future. After all, we gotta do something.
The way Shu intended the price for the guns, the Robux option for the guns is having them quite high, so it doesn't really promote buying them. But once you get closer to unlocking that gun by just playing, the price drops. So we'll see how that plays out. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. It's kind of hard to tell. Um, so will there be new game mods? He probably meant game modes releasing. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Most likely Rush and some other, you know, insurgency-like game modes. Since right now all we have is TDM. That's not what we wanted. And will there be new guns added to the game? Yes. Also, will there be new features where you can pick the map? Probably, yeah. I guess game modes and maps, yeah, why not? And Soviet asks, where do you see the game in 6 months? Well, I guess the smart way to answer would be comparing it to how I saw the game 6 months ago. So 6 months ago it was around summer, and around summer we were... Okay, so the game hasn't changed much around half the past half year. It's just a lot of more content has been added and just stability fixes.
Yep.
And back then, the game wasn't popular at all. It was like 0 players mostly. Sometimes if we ping the whole server, we would get like 20 players playing at once. We had like 200 to 300 players, I mean users in the Discord server back then. And back then I didn't expect it to just kind of blow up thanks to YouTubers and dev dudes advertising. So probably in 6 months what I would see this game is, well, just having more players, more content, maybe more devs. Honestly, I'm not looking forward too much to more players. Like, we have like what 100, 200 currently, and
Yeah.
that's fine, I guess. I mean, but for testing purposes, that's a little too much. So I guess while the game hasn't released yet, you know, the player count just kind of doesn't matter too much. It's mostly that the recognition we get, which allows us to get more funds in, more devs, more, you know, stuff like that. So I guess we're gonna be more popular in 6 months. That's about it. Just more content and shit. So yeah, I'm not expecting us to completely blow up in 6 months. I really doubt that. I really doubt that. Have you got anything to add about that, Sniper?
Let me check my list as well because I had a few questions. Fuck.
Well, I got 2 more slides of questions, I think. Wait. Oh, okay. Oh. I got 2 more slides of questions.
Let's just go on for those and then we'll answer the rest later. After these. Whatever I have to add.
Alright. So, next question being, regarding the game, is it going to be the M4 or the AK-74U? Are you planning any sort of other weapon class like SMG, sniper, etc.? If you will they have the same sort of attachment system like M4 and AK? First of all, that's not the AK-74U. Second of all, yes, there are gonna be more weapon classes since we're not dumb. We're actually gonna add more weapons. Like I don't know what made you doubt that, but yes, we're adding more weapons. If so, more attachment. So yes, we'll try to. The first guns we're adding to the game, we're gonna try to make them as customizable as possible. Obviously, later on in the game's lifespan, there are gonna come guns that have less attachments will come along, just as, you know, content, I guess, because why not? That's about that.
Here, if you want, I'll read out the list of guns that possibly may come, that I have in mind, and that are already planned. Well, made modal wise, we got the HK, we got the MP7, which is somewhat pretty highly customizable. Those are the 2 that are customizable and already made that I can just add whenever she wants to animate them. Then PP19, as I mentioned earlier, and then we've got the machine guns, M249, and PP Petchin, I guess, opposite. SKS, pretty obvious. MPX, maybe MCX. Scar H, Scar L, and AKM as the opposite of that. R700 to opposite of a Mosin for insurgents. And maybe SR25-M110 to SVD for insurgents. That's how I see guns for later.
Yeah, but you have to take
there will be a lot more.
Yeah, but you have to take into account this will probably take at least half a year to add all these. If Shub actually goes on to adding only content like guns, and he definitely doesn't have the time to add only guns and attachments. So hang in there. They're coming. They're being modeled. It's just, you know. Currently, we're not depending on Shub with detachments mostly, since Sniper is the one who can add them real fast. So that's why the speed of attachment adding has blown up.
Yeah, I'm slowly having Shub teach me stuff studio-wise, so I can cover at least the small percentage of ground that he has to do. So I'm gonna be learning, possibly adding scopes soon, which means there's gonna be a shitload of fucking optics coming. But it really depends on how will it go, and will it be worth me adding or actually having Shub that add them. And attachments-wise, other than that, everything I can add pretty fast. So yeah.
Yeah. So we're trying to take the, lift off of Shu. Well, mostly it's Sniper that's doing it, but yeah. Continuing on, will there ever be a G36C or any other guns in the future you guys are working on? G36, I guess it's a good variant. I'd probably,
Yeah.
if we add the G36, I'd add the K variant, since that's the most used one, I guess, around the world. So that's like the export. Wait, actually, no, I'm saying it wrong. The export variant is the G36E, but I have no idea if other armies around the world, like my home country, uses that one. It's mostly the G36K, I think, but it's not the big G36.
Really, the way weapons will be added is, yeah, the high chance of them being used in what country. So we don't have, like, some people were asking me about stupid Turkish guns, like the ones I made a couple months ago. No, that's not coming because first of all, it makes no sense. Like nobody would really use it except the Turkish military. But the guns that we're having in sight is ones that are used by special forces. And for insurgents, we're not really picking guns that are always used by insurgents. We're just really picking them that will suit the insurgent. It's not going to be so realistic, and also it's not going to be only Russian era weapons as well. It's not going to be only Russian weapons. It will be some really awkward, shitty weapons. Unluckily, they'll be very customizable for now, at least. But that's how weapons are currently in our sights. Nothing stupid like just obscure things like Turkish guns. No, it's not customizable. Number one, it's not popular. Number two, and it's just not used by anybody. Like no point of adding that.
Yeah, the only option, well, the only chance of us adding Turkish guns would be if we just decided to do like a Syria feeder and adding the Turkish nation, like which fights insurgents. Yes, in that case we could add the MPT guns, but that's kind of specific, I guess. I don't think we want to add
Yeah.
Syria maps and the Turkish faction to the game. So yeah, continuing on from Ferrarif, how do you plan on expanding the game and its influence in the future? Are you targeting a tighter or a broader target demographic? And how do you plan on maintaining a consistent community audience in the future? Well,
Well,
that's a pretty big question. Expanding the game.
map
Maps,
features.
guns, attachments, clothing. Yeah, that's about it. That's basically all we need, basically.
Yeah.
Um,
Considering community and audience, how to keep it consistent. Just adding more and more attachments, really. Maybe, like, I mean, obviously, it's just gonna work out onto the features that we'll be adding, and then odd additional percentage of the attachments. That's really how it's gonna be. I know that people will get bored of the game very soon because we don't have a new map or anything like that. We have one game mode, and like we weren't expecting this many players. When DevDudes gave us the advertisement, I thought, yeah, we'll have maybe this many people for another couple days, and then it will drop to maybe a 10 and slowly decrease. But we did get some more hype up, and now it's 120 people. It will drop soon, just because people will get bored, and we're really early development. Even though this game has been in development for long, it's very early. We don't have a good map. We just have a placeholder. We don't have as many features yet, so it's just time. That's all it's really based on.
yeah, it's just time. Are you targeting a tighter or a broader target demographic? Well, we obviously don't mind PF players coming along, as long as they don't act as PF players. Obviously, I would enjoy more a community of rationally thinking older people that actually understand why we're making this game. They actually understand that games tend to have minuses, you know, and people that actually like realistic gameplay. That's something we wanted to have. And obviously we don't mind people that like PF coming along. It's just, if they get annoying, we mostly just kick them, but that's a story for another day. And how do you plan to maintain a consistent community audience in the future? Just as Sniper mentioned, just adding content and just trying to, just trying to not make the game feel like it's dead and just have nothing, just have more content.
Yep.
Continuing on, are we gonna get newer secondaries like an SMG to put a sniper scope on? Like a Mac 10 or something. That sounds very memey, but SMGs aren't made for the secondary slot, that's the first thing. And the second thing is, well, why would we... I mean, as long as the SMG has a rail, you can put anything on it. So, like, obviously you'll be able to put anything like a sniper scope on it. So, yeah. And most importantly, any statement on the possibility of adding thermal scopes, as we mentioned, maybe, but much later. So
at the same time, like now, there was no point of adding that. Nobody would use it.
true.
It's
easy to see.
I don't know. Yeah, exactly. It's too easy.
So if you were to make fighting in the night better, what would you change? Make it darker. Make it darker.
Yeah.
Make the NVGs more useful, basically.
I don't think it's a good idea to make it even more darker, so it doesn't become like Tarkov Factory. But I mean, kind of right now, and fighting with NVGs is very OP. I would say it's like ADSing with having no scope going into your sight. So you're just going to be having your laser, and you can easily just kill anybody. It's kind of simple right now. I was kind of asking Shub of making night vision scopes so people would actually have an option of, laying down, taking their night vision off, and covering an objective with a night vision scope. That would be nice, but as we mentioned earlier, not. It might come, but not soon, at least for now.
We could probably add the option to change between the aiming modes. The aiming mode, like what was it called, the tap firing, which is when you use the laser, or using the sights or the iron sights, for example. Since I actually myself got annoyed of using only the tap firing option, but that will definitely come later. So continue on. What are the plans to bring the game to? Will there be a competitive scene? So how we look at the competitive scene is we wouldn't really support it, but if it happens and people actually want to play this game competitively, yes, please do it. We don't mind. But I don't think we'll be like Valve, where we really support it and monitor it. It'll be just something up to the players. Like, yeah, do it if you want to.
The other thing I gotta answer. Somebody asked about what was it? It's like people were asking about having factions, names of their factions, so people could make discords for their own factions and have faction battles. Not soon. It's not really much point. You can, I mean, if you really wanted to have a faction and have faction wars, you people could make your own servers, because private servers are free. Have two different teams join. As admin perms, you could just move people to a different team. I think that's possible already. And there you go, but we're not gonna have people RPing in this game. We're not gonna be intentionally making it an RP game. So
there's the option of shop fix. That console thing. It's quite powerful. You can do whatever you want with it in the game. Well, almost. If you ask Shub very politely, he can make you some good commands. Well, actually talking about changing the team names, he can do that. And so he could give you the commands and you could, roleplay more, I guess. Since we don't want to leave the RP community out, since it's actually quite a big community. The people who RP and do milsims. We like you. It's just that we don't really have time currently for adding features that would benefit your RPC. So yeah. So next question would be: clearly the game is somewhat inspired by Insurgency. Says Tom. Will you guys continue to base it off that game, or will you add some twists to it that will make it a bigger difference? Yes. As you can see, the game isn't quite like Insurgency. It's got this attachment system. It's got this, some things are different. we based it off, we got inspired by Insurgency, but we added some more stuff to it. So you can't really tell we copied Insurgency. So we will probably keep making the difference bigger, but the core game is still like Insurgency. So yeah, and yeah, it's like Sandstorm or the source game, it doesn't really matter.
This the leftover Q&A is kind of not really a Q&A that we're looking to answer, but yeah, the answer I would give to Roblox deving, leave this platform be and don't give it time because you're gonna eventually suffer. I hate Roblox. It's just such a shit show most of the time. Modeling wise, I mean, fuck. You shouldn't be looking at Roblox modeling, you should be looking at modeling in general. Because Roblox modeling is... I don't know.
It's a good starting round.
It's a good starting round, but from my experience, you don't want to be having it in picture when learning, because you will probably have to do non-subsurf, and subsurf is a very powerful tool which people use for other platforms, like non-Roblox, because in Roblox you gotta keep your tris limit fucking low so your game doesn't freeze and have terrible frames, yes. So I wouldn't suggest, if you're modeling, really just have Roblox as a point and end of your tris limits. You gotta start out with something, and then if you are gonna work on Roblox, limit yourself to it, but also give yourself time to work on projects that are non-Roblox, or else you're gonna be like me, having only experience with wasteful time of adding every detail without subsurf.
True.
Now I gotta relearn Blender to just learn how to do subsurf, because it's a different type of modeling, really.
That's why I prefer CAD over Blender, since CAD doesn't really care about subsurf. It's like, tris? What tris? This isn't supposed to mean. This is not meant for a game.
The other one is topology. What's topology?
Right, no, right. Since in CAD you're just working more with shapes and stuff. It's not like there's no topology, because it's not meant for games at all. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wait, did you... Oh, so you just read that question. What tips would you give to the people starting out? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, Roblox is a good starting ground, but it's better not to stay here.
Yeah.
It's like, all the scripters that stay here turn into Furies. Do you want to turn into a Fury as well?
That's kind of true.
I don't know. The modelers seem more sane on this platform. They keep their sanity, but scripters, dude, if you're a scripter, don't stay on Roblox for too long. You're gonna have some radical changes in your life. I don't recommend. But yeah, Roblox deving, it's quite a shitstorm. Building on Roblox is like a dead end, by the way. Building on Roblox is a dead end. It gets you nowhere. So if you want to be a developer, either you learn animating, or either you learn modeling or scripting, but building, that's a dead end. I can assure you, that's a dead end. Yeah, so probably the final slide. Just random questions, simply yes or no, if they will be added. Vehicles, and if so, mounted guns on it, yes. Weapon malfunctions, no. Hunger system, no. Bleeding out, most probably no. Medkits, maybe, I guess. Pain system? What is the pain system? I don't think so.
Yeah, I would say the pain system, he probably means something like, you're injured, you're gonna walk a lot slower, or some shit like that. Probably not. But we're not making a Daisy simulator. Medkits, same as for medkits. I would give like bleeding out, not really. Medkits possibly, but that would probably only work on bigger maps, because on current map, what's the point of medkitting your teammate when the next second you know a new wave of the enemies are gonna come in and you're actually
both gonna die. Yeah.
Yes.
The combat is too fast-paced for that currently. But a pain system, I guess, no, because that'll just make the gameplay very slow and just make it look like Arma. No, that's not really Arma.
It's like, how I would put it is, we could make medkits work like Squad. I really admire how Squad made it. They made it the most simple. Like, they made it so fucking simple. I really like the way they did it, and there's not too much to it. You get hit, you're just having a bloody screen, that's kind of simple, but nothing like paint system, just a medkit. Yeah, they have that, and that's really a cool thing. Maybe that's coming. I don't know. Not yet for sure.
Yeah. Or do you already have a list of all the things, coming things? Well, our scripting Trello has a lot of stuff, but it definitely doesn't have everything we kind of looked at. So it's like it
Yeah,
has stuff we will definitely add at some point, but not stuff which is questionable currently.
yeah. I made a Q&A channel, so there is quite a few Q&A answers
Oh yeah?
modeling wise there. That's
Wait, you
something,
made
and
it
then also,
in Discord?
yeah, there's a Q&A channel where I posted all the guns that are coming, what's like coming, and then Shub also answered some stuff.
Oh, that's what you were talking about. Yeah. Yeah, that also has a lot of questions answered. Are you willing on letting people join the dev team? Okay, well, talking about the dev team. So how it currently is, we don't need any scripters, we don't need any modelers, but
Yeah,
I
builders.
guess, well, builders are the most needed. But the problem with builders is that there aren't many good builders out there, and even if they are good, they won't work that much. And if they do work that much, they cost a lot. That's the problem. So if you're a builder and you're actually good at it, and you're not 12 years old, you can show up, show us your portfolio. We'll take a look at it, and if we like it, we'll see what we can do further. But I
Yeah.
guess maybe animators, maybe animators. I mean, Shub likes animating, but maybe you could use a hand. But otherwise,
Um,
no.
One thing I would answer modeling wise, we're not gonna take modelers because even for me and Scrub, we have like already in game you can notice differences in styles. So having another person would be just terrible. It would really ruin the game. So me and Scrub would be probably the only modelers for a long time. So no, don't even try coming into the DMs and being like, can I model for free? Because no, that's not happening. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Thank God, at least our both skills are somewhat equal. So it's not like
Somewhat, yeah.
somewhat equal. So our, the trace amount we use is somewhat equal. It's the textures that give it away most. But yeah.
Yeah.
Advice for new FPS game creators. Okay, well, I have a lot of experience with people asking to help, or what is, how do you make a good FPS game? Well, it's I'm very thankful for you assuming, um, assuming we're good at making FPS games. But what I would advise is not being alone. Since if you're alone, like a lone scripter or a lone modeler, you're not gonna get a lot of done. Also, you need a lot of resources like Robux or cash. If you want to hire someone, you need a lot of money. If you don't have a lot of money, you're not gonna do much. So, unfortunately, this sounds very cliche, but like you need to have a team and a lot of resources. I'm not saying Deadline has had a lot of that. That's why Deadline is so slow. It doesn't really have a big team. It doesn't really have resources. But at least we have motivation. We've been doing this for 2 years basically. Well, we have had some pauses in the middle, but the idea of Deadline has stayed alive for 2 years. That's, I guess, what matters the most. The idea.
Yep.
Yeah. How can we help with funding? Well, I mean, I haven't looked at the funding, but I'm quite sure the game has got a donation menu with a
Yeah.
leaderboard inside.
You can go and donate. That's really the only way currently.
Yeah. Well, and we're very thankful for donations since we'll be using that Robux very soon. And
Yep.
who is Joe? Unfortunately, I'm not informed of who's Joe. Um, so yeah, very sorry. Um, uh, what type of game also there will be getting in the future? I haven't really looked at the game modes Insurgency has, but Shuk has really laid his eyes on Rush. Rush being that game mode, which I think is like. Actually, I won't bother explaining since I will probably get it wrong, but just look up Rush on Insurgency. That's probably the thing we want to get added first. And some other game modes, probably capturing points and stuff. Quite standard.
Let's hope we don't become Insurgency, because I've seen what Insurgency been up to lately, and they're slowly becoming Fortnite.
Uh, I actually enjoy the co-op of Insurgency most.
I like that as well, yeah. It's pretty nice.
It's like getting on with your friends and just shooting some bots, because that's fun. IR lasers for night vision. Yes, later, just later. We know that the real lasers aren't quite meant for night operations when using night vision. It's just that we haven't added the IR lasers yet. For the QnA, what is going to be happening with the character customization? Is there anything planned for it, or are you still waiting for ideas? Well, we had planned this for quite a long time now. Having your character basically just as customizable as your gun, probably not, but like having different parts of clothing and stuff you can add onto the clothing, maybe. We haven't really thought about it much since we don't really have the models for it currently, and we don't have the time and the necessity for it. Just, yeah,
Yep.
enjoy the current models you have. So yeah, sorry, RP Milsim groups, no character customization yet, but it's definitely coming. CQB, he probably meant CQC, only map. I don't know. Like, we don't want to do the, CQC maps only. We want to make big, good maps meant for all kinds of combat, which is all this game is about. And CQC is mostly what the current map has been all this time. So, I don't know. I don't know. Probably not. Will the game have sights that have custom magnifications?
Yeah. I was talking to Shub about it, like having magnifiers. How Shub told me yesterday, he could add magnifiers already, but it would have to be like in Tarkov, where it sticks to the specific attachment, where it's only EOTech HHS, which is the magnifier's name, plus the EOTech HS. No, XPS 3, I think they have, or 2,
Yeah.
don't remember. I think it's XPS 3. He could do that, but I told him that probably no.
Yeah, I agree. I
'Cause,
wouldn't like
I
that.
mean, like, looking at how we have our whole customization system, it would not really look good. Like,
Makes
we have
sense. Wouldn't make sense.
crazy amounts of different grips you can put. You can put anything where you want, and then you have a scope that has a magnifier on it, and people are gonna be like, please let me put it on my red dot instead of my fucking EOTech. So probably not. Scope magnification changing. I haven't talked to Shub about that, but I am gonna be working on possibly doing sights, so I'm probably gonna be adding more zoomed in optics. So more optics coming soon.
Yeah, the
long.
current NC Star scope, that one which is like the 3 times and 9 times magnification, it should have the ability to change them. It's just that Shub didn't bother adding that yet. Okay. Also, will you be able to unequip certain things for speed purposes? Yes, it's just that we just haven't added it yet. I know there's that thing where if you press reload, there's no way to stop the reload. I agree. Yeah, definitely coming. What's the future of attachments?
I can instantly answer that. I already answered that to this specific person, but Shub answered that as well, that it's going to be unlockable, and you're going to say that as well, I think.
Yeah, it's like the attachments are going to be exclusive per gun, so it's like, well, I unlock this EOTech for my M4, so I can use it whenever I want at whatever number I want on my M4. But the same EOTech is gonna have maybe less XP to unlock or more XP unlock for the AK, and it's gonna be exclusively for the AK. So if you, for example, the EOTech for the M4 takes like 1000 XP to unlock, but the same scope for the AK takes like half less, and it's gonna be only for the AK. So yeah, that's how we want to. And buying, probably not. Just unlocking. Just by playing the gun, you unlock them. I have a question. When do you think new weapons will be ready to be added?
Already answered.
Yeah, very hard to tell. Can you see Deadline having a competitive league sometime in the future or no? I guess so. I mean, it's a milsim game, and I haven't really seen milsim games with competitive scenes, honestly.
Yeah.
Probably not. I don't know. As I mentioned, you can host your own tournaments and stuff, but it's like I don't know. The game just does the game really suit a competitive player? I don't know. I guess that's just up to you. Yeah, that appears to be everything. We've gone through all the questions. Actually, let's check if anything new has been sent in. Wait. Why is friendly fire on, and why does the person who has shot even take damage? As we already
Well,
know, the people who normally play Roblox is Monkey, because in the long run, when an enemy approaches you, often blah blah blah. Friendly fire. Well, actually, I didn't like the idea of friendly fire.
yeah.
It was
Fuck.
Shoop's idea.
I would say friendly fire is a
Oh,
hard
like
thing and annoying, but it also is kind of, I mean,
necessary.
okay. It's just like the reason people have been talking about why people don't get damaged. To answer that, we don't have a ban system yet. And only after that, I think, is going to be more like warnings and shit coming in. But maybe Shub will do some type of warnings, and after a certain time, you will get kicked from the game. But currently, I think he's not adding it just because what's the point of having a warn system when the person's just going to get kicked and rejoin the same server and continue doing it? So it's going to get solved soon, hopefully. Not no ETA, but it is an annoying thing. And yes, Roblox kids are very annoying. I hate them as well, but bear with us. It's
Yeah.
gonna take a bit.
And well, actually, as I mentioned, I didn't like the idea of not necessarily friendly fire. I actually encourage friendly fire as being a feature, since shooting your teammates and stuff and making mistakes in your plays can result in
Yeah,
the death of your teammates. That makes a lot of sense. But you taking damage when you shoot your teammate, well, that doesn't really make sense to me. But you really wanted that
yeah.
in the game, so I guess I don't know if they'll ever be removed, but I guess it's staying
I
for
think
now.
the way we could do is after we get the system in to warn and ban people, probably make it so you don't take damage, but after killing a certain amount of teammates, you will get kicked and banned for a little bit at a time.
It's like
And
inside
then if it
issue.
repeats, yeah, so basically there will be something about it. It's kind of, yeah, we want surely to have team killings, so you can't have a mistake. Like, say, I even had this mistake where you're just rushing in and you don't expect your teammate to be on your right and you accidentally kill him. Yeah, we want that to fucking happen. That would be
That
really.
happens in real combat as well. That's why
Exactly.
communication is very important.
Yeah, so also, if some people don't know, there is already a way of communicating in game using the radio, and you can change the
Call,
command that you have
call outs
spoken. Yeah,
inside
the callouts
settings.
and all that. Nobody has really looked at that. Same as ergonomics, it's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah. Will you guys not count friendly fire as a death for the victim? Probably.
That's the
We
main
just didn't really
question.
think about it yet. Yeah, we'll probably do that. This appears to be everything answered.
Okay. I don't think there's any point of answering game questions because it's really just a lot of questions about what's coming in gun-wise. So that's going to be answered separately through that channel. Do you have anything to add before I spam them with the amount of stuff I'm going to be working on the next few days? Grub?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. All right. Well, kind of appears that we've answered everything.
so should I?
Yeah, you should probably. Yeah.
Okay, well, first of all, tomorrow, which this video is not going to release today, so whenever there's going to be a massive stream that I'm going to be doing from making a shitload of stuff, there's going to be a lot of new attachments for the AKs that were requested. First of all, no new barrel for AKs because that makes no sense. AK-74 cannot have an interchangeable barrel.
Yeah, that's too hard to do.
Maybe some new stocks, a lot new magazines for the AKs, because people really want it. Yes, there will be a fucking 95 round drum so you can lay down and mag them to your gun, and yes, it will probably be really unrealistic, where it's gonna have terrible ergonomics, and you will reload very slow, because we don't really have a different reload for all the mags. So it really depends on your ergonomics, and it will look pretty slow-mo, and you will be very heavy, and you'll be very slow at running with it. But there will be a drum, and yes, that's going to be abused a lot. I already noticed people abusing the thing coming out of the spawn, laying down, and there's that one road that leads to every spawn, and you just kill it on long range there.
True.
What else? New optics. I've already worked on a couple new optics. There's more coming. This weekend, if Shub teaches me adding optics, I'm gonna focus on more optics as well, because that's probably the coolest attachments you can add, because that's the only attachment that you really interact with when using your gun. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of new attachments coming. The guns I already answered in the start of the video, so I think that's it.
Yeah, so make sure
Shub's
to
not
tune
answered
in.
questions.
Yeah, make sure to tune
Yeah.
in on Sniper's stream. Because he likes spending a lot of his time on the game, so make sure you support him on that. So yeah, I'm also working on some Glock stuff. It's just that I still have school and stuff from morning to evening. Just saying. I'm currently working on the Fisher development suppressor for the Glock. So yeah, I guess that's about it. So I guess I'll edit this video later. So I guess thanks for listening. I hope this answers a lot of stuff you were wondering about, and I hope this answers your stuff for some time, so I don't have to make this video again. Right.
There'll probably be another Q&A, but after a long time. There's no really point of making one in a while.
Yeah, I wish I could have brought Shub along, since he didn't really want to join us today. He didn't really want to do it, so I hope he joins us next time. So I guess bye everyone. It was Scrub and Sniper.
See ya.
Yeah, see you boys.